Welcome to the FL Community Podcast, created for the community by the community, where we discuss living with follicular lymphoma with a particular focus on thriving beyond diagnosis, both physically and mentally. The following podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Please speak with your doctor before making any health decisions.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the FL Community Podcast. You're here with me, Dr. Paul, and here with Nicky and Nicola, our producer.
Hi.
And we're here with a very special guest today, who, Nicky, I think you're going to introduce for us.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Paul. So in this episode, we are joined by one of my very first clients, Dave. So Dave reached out to me shortly after his diagnosis with follicular lymphoma last year in 2024. I was a new graduate, so I hadn't quite finished setting up my clinic at the time, but Dave reached out to me to see if I knew of a nutritionist. So I put my hand up and I said, look, I'm getting my clinic set up, so if you can help me work out my software and everything like that. So you're a bit of a guinea pig to start out with, but we think we did a lot of great work together. So Dave will share his personal journey from the uncertainty of his diagnosis and also to joining a clinical trial for the bispecific antibody AZD0486. So we'll learn more about that and about bispecifics, and we'll also learn about how nutrition, lifestyle and mindset played a role in his recovery. We'll also talk about what a nutrition consultation actually involves, from the initial discovery call, health history, to identifying key goals like improving gut health, reducing inflammation, and supporting treatment tolerance. So, we want to give you an inside look about how targeted nutrition can support the body through lymphoma treatment and beyond. So, welcome, Dave.
Hi, good to meet you all. Great to be on here. It'd be great to tell a story. It's been a journey, yeah.
Yes. It's been a journey, hasn't it? So I'm really excited to get into it today. So, Dave, do you want to take us back to the moment when you were first diagnosed with follicular lymphoma? What was that time like for you?
Just over a year ago. It was the 28th of the 8th, 24. I guess people always don't forget those dates. But I was diagnosed stage 4 non-Hodgkin's follicular lymphoma. And I had bone marrow, had all the end stage symptoms. So I was losing weight, night sweats, all my neck was all swollen up, my ears were poking out. I could hardly eat because my jaw was so swollen. I had costochondritis, my chest. It was, I mean, from now 12 months on, it's a totally different story, but it was, the funny thing was, obviously, with my diagnosis, you can't really pick up lymphoma from a blood test, so it became undetected. So I guess I was watching and waiting for quite a long time. So by the time I got it, it was very far along. So that's where I was, and I guess you never forget when you get diagnosed. It's something you never think would happen to you. I was, fit and healthy. Well, I thought I was. I was always been, exercising for the last 25 years. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, and then it was like, what's happening? Why is this happening? And it was at the stage where, it was just mind. I'd lost 10 kilos, or weight was just dropping. It was really affecting my life in a bad way. So obviously I was ready for the eradication phase right then. So, and I guess the first thing that happens, one of the things, I guess everyone reacts differently, but I know there's sort of like 3 or 4 sort of different responses people have when they're diagnosed. But obviously the first one is like your life's gone out of control. You're looking for answers. You're trying to control the situation. Like, what can I do to help make it better? And one of the things, I guess, an obvious thing is nutrition. Maybe I can do something there that could help, or what have I done that's caused this, or all these things going around in your head. And, because you have like this uncertain future ahead of you. And I guess it's every emotion wrapped up. It's uncertainty, fear, you name it. I guess everyone's been through it, who's been diagnosed, but it's like being punched in the gut or something. I don't know. It's like the worst news you could possibly think of. Because leading up to it, it was just test upon test. There was ultrasounds and scans and everything else, and let's just see what this is and that is, and then it was okay, maybe we'll do a biopsy. And then it was like, yeah, then it was like the worst news from there kind of thing. So
Right.
yeah, that's very where I was at, 28th of the 8th, 24. So
Wow, you're taking
Wow.
taking us all back, I think, Dave, because we've been diagnosed for quite a while now, all of us three,
yeah,
and just last year for you. So this is new.
Mm.
yeah.
So yeah, it's really taking me back that response that you had.
Oh
Mm.
wow, yeah. I guess
Absolutely.
everyone takes back to those feelings that you're not going to really forget when you're diagnosed.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
one of
No, you
those.
don't forget, do you? You don't.
No,
Yeah, and I remember you mentioning to me you presented very similar to myself, where you had lumps on the neck that you could feel, and like in other areas of the body,
yeah.
you were diagnosed stage 4, grade 2. Is that right?
I'm not sure the grade, but I know it was stage 4, and there was bone marrow involvement as well. And it was, I don't know if you've seen the before scan, you might have seen that, but it was,
Mm.
yeah, all in the
Mm.
chest, massive in the stomach. There was one over 15, 16 centimeters in the stomach, I think.
Yeah.
Basically, the first thing I noticed was in the groin area, which I thought it was basically I thought it was a hernia or something from
Mm.
exercise. So that was the first obvious one, and then I had one in my clavicle there, and then all my neck was multiple, and even at one point my ear was getting pushed out from behind my ear and both sides of
Mm.
the ear. So that's when it became very sort of visible. So, but I
Yeah.
think it was similar to yours,
Mm.
Nicky, as far as the neck. My neck was just multiple all down.
Multiple, like
A
I
bunch of
always
grapes,
describe
kind
And
of.
it
my
like a
jaw was
corn pop.
disfigured. I had a disfigured jaw. My
Oh,
jaw was all,
oh wow.
yeah, I've got those
Gosh,
photos there if you
Yeah.
want to see it, but it was,
I saw your photos actually on Facebook. Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
seen
posted them
those.
in the community, haven't you? So yeah, I
I think
encourage
I have.
everybody to look up Dave and have a look at his
Mm.
photos, because you've also put your before and after PET scans and
That's right.
also photos of your lumps and all of
Mm.
that. So yeah, definitely have a
Yeah,
look if
it's quite, when you see the
yeah.
before and after, it's like, wow, what a contrast. It's like, that's the stuff dreams are made of, I tell you.
Right,
Oh,
Yeah.
isn't it? And
right.
how amazing is the feeling after you start
Oh,
treatment and you start to feel those lumps go down?
oh, that was
It's
just incredible because it was like the first with the treatment, the first basically it was rituximab and the AZD trial, and they were giving you when I first started, they would like one each day because obviously because they weren't going to stack both of them at the same time. But I think after about the second cycle of rituximab, I looked in the mirror, I think this is going down, and then with the
Mm.
third one, I was almost back to normal. Yeah, and when I walked into the to see my doctor for the appointment after the blood work and that, her jaw just dropped. She was like wow, like wow, like this is like it's like some kind of miracle. It's amazing. But I
Mm.
believe that 95% of people on this trial have had complete metabolic responses and have all been
oh
stage 3.
wow.
I think they're getting better at this eradication phase. I think they're getting better at it. I mean, if this is what the future is, a glimpse of the future, what could be the standard first line treatment, say a few years' time,
Mm,
then wow, we're looking at a whole different ball game because this is like a
yeah.
non-chemical. I was originally booked in for chemotherapy, the R-CHOP. So a day before, 1 or 2 days before I asked about it, they got me on a trial. So that I had to redo some of my scans
Oh,
and test
wow.
all again because they had to be within a certain time frame. So I don't know how many. It was just endless. This time last year, it was just biopsies, scans, you name it, the whole lot. Yeah.
It's a
So,
lot, isn't
Yeah,
it?
oh, yeah,
it's
it's
really
full on.
full.
And
Wow.
because I'm on a trial
Yeah.
too, that's one thing when you do a trial,
Mm,
obviously, it's like a
yeah.
commitment. So there's way more blood work.
Mm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
more scans and everything else because it's all gathering data. It's getting all the
Yeah.
data. So I don't mind doing
Yeah.
it, but at one stage I was getting, I think, 19 vials in one day at one time, and then there was
Wow. God.
before that I had to wait an hour after 10 hours of infusions, and an hour later I had to get another blood sample just so they could get a picture of everything and how it's traveling.
Mm.
So an investment. I thought the worst case scenario, if the treatment doesn't work or the worst should happen, or what, at least I've done something positive and contributed somehow to the
Mm.
future of
Absolutely.
treatments.
And
Hmm.
that's a great way to look at it. I've always encouraged, if you're offered a clinical trial, don't shy away from it. It's doing a great thing for the medical community, and also yeah, it's I get the lots of blood tests. When I was
Oh
on my
yeah.
clinical trial, I was having blood tests every single week for a good, well, 3 to 6 months, and I've got my arms were just covered
Oh,
in
mine are still recovering. My veins are Like they just
Yeah.
got hammered back all the cannulas and all the massive amount of blood tests. But I've been exercising and doing like some weight training stuff, just bringing up the veins because now I've gone down to
Oh,
like
really?
once a month now. So after the first 7 months of treatment, they're starting to heal up a bit, I think. So, but
I'm finding the same, Dave, because I'm always in the gym, and all my veins on my arms were ruined after my recent treatment, but they're gradually kind of
are they?
recovering. And in the
That's
gym with
good
the
to hear.
pump, it's a nice feeling.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, well, I'm
Mm.
hoping so too. Mine's starting to come back up because it got to the point where it's starting to get hard to find veins for my
Yeah,
treatments and everything because
yeah.
they get all scarred up, I guess. But
Mm.
it's
They
good
go
to
really
hear that. I
Yeah,
hard.
they
know.
do. I've still got scars on my
Mm.
arms from it, on both arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, like little
Mm.
dots all over my arms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I guess there's a small
yeah.
price to pay. And the way I looked at it, I mean, they couldn't promise anything with it. Obviously, they can't promise anything, but they,
Mm.
the outcome's pretty good. So I thought, I didn't really have much of a choice, really. I was at the stage where
Mm.
the eradication phase, if you look at it in those sort of eradication,
Mm.
recovery, rejuvenation, that's how I sort of looked at it. And
That's
Mm.
it. Well, that's what Robert Miller does. That's what he calls
yeah,
it as well.
that was a resource that I looked at, the lymphoma
Yes.
survival
Mm.
website,
Mm.
and I found that very, very helpful. Just the phases of the treatment, like you got, the
Mm.
eradication, and nearly everyone's journey at some point, you probably have to go to the eradication phase because. I mean, I got to the point where they said, well, they didn't give me a week because I was moving house. They said, yeah, we need to get onto this because it's
Ah.
so far along. You got to start having problems. I was already having problems, but by problems, I mean, other organ failures and things like that. So,
Mm.
Gosh.
yeah.
Yeah. I think when we first met, you hadn't been accepted on the trial. We were waiting. We weren't sure whether you were going to be on watch and wait or whether you were going to go straight into treatment. And
Yeah.
and then I remember when you told me you were going on that trial, I got really excited
Oh,
because bispecifics is like the upcoming, it's overtaking CAR T at the moment. So when
oh,
you
wow.
first found out you were on this trial, were you able to wrap your head around what bispecifics
No,
is?
I
Did you
still, I
think?
still don't really know 100%, but all I know is it was a non-chemical trial, and I think the trial they're comparing it to the chemo. So it was like,
Mm.
Yeah.
and it was for first-line patients, stage 3 and 4.
Mhm.
So yeah, with the side effects, less side effects. I did
Mhm.
ask them like, is this how targeted? They go, oh, this is very targeted. This is because they're kind of excited because it's like this is like cutting edge, and they're getting a glimpse of the future kind of thing. But I know
Yes.
one of my friends was works in the pharmaceutical companies. He was saying like, oh, this is stage 3 or whatever of the trial. Like you say, like they don't usually get this far
Thanks.
along unless they're pretty confident it's working. It's more a
Mm.
data gathering exercise so they can get it on the system, you know what I mean? So he says, just go for it, dude. Like they would have if it wasn't working or they didn't think there was value in it, they wouldn't be continuing it. So yeah, so I thought, yeah, well, I got the R-CHOP, I can either do the chemo or this, but I had to go get all my scans done again. I had to have another hour and a half MRI and everything else, like, and had to have another biopsy and had a bone marrow
Mm.
biopsies and stuff got done again and all that stuff. But I guess it was definitely worth it.
Really?
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is worth it.
and I'm
Yeah.
hearing the same things from other people on the trial. I'm hearing the same things like wow, this is where the magic happens. Amazing. Like, so
It's very
yeah,
exciting, isn't it? Seeing it kind of come along.
exciting.
Mm.
I'm just reading about it because I'm in Spain and
Yeah.
with roots in the UK, and it's only available as a third line in both countries in some places.
Oh, really?
And at the minute. So, but for it to be a first line,
Mm.
for many people in the future, hopefully, by the sounds of it, would be incredible to avoid the chemo
Wow.
straight away. So I
Yeah.
mean, very lucky. I'm so pleased you got to experience that, Dave.
Mm.
Well, because
Yeah.
the part of the phase of the trial I was on was called the safety running, which means that they were testing the dosage. So I think I was 7 point whatever it was, the dose. So they had a higher dose and a lower dose. I was on the higher dose. So obviously
Hmm.
they were testing, it's called the safety running. So they were trying to fine tune which would like the best sort of dosage level would
Mm.
be
Yeah.
for that drug. And I think that what they've realized from my trial of the dose that I was on, the higher dose, is the one that they thought had the best payoff.
Right.
Yeah. And I think they're
Yeah. And
doing
that's because you're so healthy, you
yeah.
can tolerate it as well. So they would have seen that.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because they did say to me like, because when I was booked in for the R-CHOP for the chemo, they were saying that it's like training for an event, like the
Mm.
fitter, healthier you are, the better you got to handle the treatment, So it's like, oh well, I've been in training for 25 years for this, so
Yeah.
Indeed,
I hadn't drank,
indeed.
I hadn't smoked, so I think, yeah, so I think in those ways, I think your body maybe doesn't get knocked around quite as much. I don't know. You can tolerate it. You can take the hits a bit more, maybe. I don't know. Like
I think you're
when they
right.
say train hard, fight easy kind of thing. So maybe that
Hmm.
was a
Mm.
bit of that. But I was also with Nicky's help and everything else. I sort of took a militaristic approach. Like I brought it, made sure I was drinking 2 liters of water a day and everything else, and hydrating and doing all the right things to keep my immune system healthy and things like that. So keep my calories up, because the main thing was my body
Mm.
weight dropped 10 kilos, and I was just going down and down. It was just, so that was one part of the nutrition was a concern, as the calories and eating things to
Mm-hmm.
get my body weight back. And it was
Mm.
interesting, because about halfway through the treatment phase, my body weight still came back like healthy weight.
So,
Yeah.
Good.
could you take us into, Nicky, the process that you followed, or that you kind of helped Dave with nutritionally? I'd be really curious to understand what the whole setup was there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we did a bit of a discovery call. So
Mm.
Dave sent me a message, and I said, look, let's just have a chat first. Usually, I'll start with like a 15-minute, what I call a discovery call, and we sort of have a chat, and just to make sure that we get along, and I find out what he wanted to get out of our time together. And then we went on and booked a initial consultation, which takes about 90 minutes. And between the discovery call and the consultation, I my system has an app. So I'll send my clients an invitation to download an app where they can input their diet. It's got like a journal in it, isn't it, Dave? You could even connect your Fitbit
Yeah,
watch
that's
Mm.
right.
to
Yeah,
it as
I had the
well.
old Fitbit here, which I still use to. I find it handy
Yes,
to
I still
track.
get those things. I still get them as
Do
well.
you?
It's
I should
still
log back in
connected.
there.
Yes,
I should log back in there, because it's very. It has everything. Obviously, all your macros, and you can have all your meals in
it
there.
does.
But it's very easy to duplicate each one. So you can see. For me, I guess the big one was the macros, the balance, protein and
Mhm.
carbs, and having enough calories to sustain
Mm.
my body rate. And when you sort of track it like that, it becomes very illuminating. And if you can't
Mm,
measure it, you can't manage it, kind of thing. So, and you can sort of
yeah.
think, yeah. So it was very good. And also it was obviously I was tracking my sleep and my exercise and my steps and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
so it tracks all of that. You can also
yeah,
input like some lifestyle things like your bowel movements, your physical activity, but the food diary's in
mood.
there as
Yeah.
well. And
Also
I
the
think
feeling
as
after
I
you
was
eat and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
have you, and even after you sleep, are you feeling well rested, or things like
Yeah.
that. So it really it makes things a lot easier before we have our initial consultation, because it gives us more time to really dive deep into those things. And we don't want to spend that time writing down a food diary and things like that. But I will work with the person on what they prefer. I was lucky that Dave is probably one of the most compliant clients that I've had. Always, inputting his diet diary or his food diary and his lifestyle things, and it made it really easy for me. So I was very grateful for that, and it was really good for me to test all of this out, because I hadn't used it before. So it was good to see how it all worked. So it just gave us that opportunity to really dive deep and work out what we wanted to focus on, which was particularly making sure his diet was very anti-inflammatory, and also preparing his gut for treatment, which I have no doubt that Dave's gut was already really good. And one thing I wish we had done was to do some gut testing, but I wasn't quite set up. We was still I was still building my processes at the time, but it was very, very helpful while I was going through all of that. So we focused on trying to prepare his gut for treatment. So we looked at specific strains and what of probiotics, and also what prebiotics to match those specific strains to make sure that he was ready, because there's so much research out there, particularly for immunotherapy, which you did have the rituximab, or the monoclonal antibody, alongside the bispecific drug. So people, there's some evidence out there that based on the health of your gut microbiome, can really affect the outcome of the treatment, or the treatment efficacy. So I'd been doing some research around that, and so that was really our main focus. But we did also look at it holistically, like we spoke about dry brushing and rebounding.
Oh, yes, right.
And
Yeah.
yes, and you were also going right through Robert Miller's lymphoma survival side as well, when we were brainstorming all of those things. And that's where we talked about, and we've spoken about this on the podcast before, after your treatment, go for a run and have a hot bath.
Yeah.
And
he's got the daily double, I think daily double, the walk, the morning and evening walk kind of thing for the lymphatic system and everything else, and also exercises and how it affects the immune system and stuff. So I got into that and all that kind of stuff. So it was good. These things you can control, and it helps with your mindset as well, I guess, because if you can control, it stops you worrying about other things, or sort of, you can easily get into the victim mentality, fall into that trap and sink and whatever. But I try to take the other approach and control what I could for the best possible outcome, and just be ready and be prepared kind of thing. So, the other thing I think we talked about, Nicky, was the vitamin D as well. So you got me on a good vitamin D thing there, just to optimize that. We had, I think, also too, they were very good with my trial. I could always ask for, if I wanted to test my vitamin D level or anything like that, they just added into the testing. So they were really supportive of that. It was like they basically said to me, like, "Oh, this is all well and good. Can't hurt. It can't hurt." Obviously, there's certain things like supplements and that you can't take on the trial, because obviously there's certain antioxidants or whatever it might affect the trial. So, but
like things like St. John's worts and things that can interact with the trial drug.
Yeah, there's a few things, but I know I've optimized. I mean, the vitamin D optimized and stuff, because I know there's some things. There's a whole bunch of things there, and but they were all
omegas.
Sorry,
do you take omegas? I know Robert kind of recommends.
The omegas. I was having some. I was eating like the foods, the whole foods that are rich in those sort of things. So
we did focus a lot on diet.
Because that helps with the inflammatory, doesn't it? When they're having the omega-3s and that, so the anti-inflammatory. But they were all very positive about that. They were just adamant, though, that at the stage I was at, that because I was going on so much about nutrition and lifestyle and that to the trial, the doctors and stuff, and they were adamant, saying, "This is all well and good. You're a motivated patient. This is fantastic. It's really good. Can't hurt. Great." But they did say something. I remember they said that, you have to remember, this is not going to cure it. You have stage 4, lymphoma. If you don't get treated, you're going to die, basically, because it's, so that was like, so this is basically a great support, but at the stage you're at, we're eradicating it. So the two go together kind of thing. So it was great. Yeah.
And that's sometimes that's the hard pill to swallow with this condition, is that it's incurable, and they do drum that into you and tell you what to, and it's scary. I remember how scared I was after them telling me that, like, and even leaving the hospital, they were like, if it comes back, within the, then you spend the next couple of years panicking at every little ailment that you find. So,
but the basis, but if I was looking at the scans, I didn't actually see those scans. So after I got my, maybe they didn't show me for a reason, because I think if I saw those scans, I would have freaked out. Like it was like, oh my God, like. So now I can see what they're saying, like, you need to get treated, because I was in so much pain in my shoulders. I had pain everywhere, because I guess it's getting to a point where it's affecting, so much of my life. I think what they call it, the end stage symptoms. So, but they said, everything you do is great. It's the stronger you go in. They did say, don't do anything stupid like go on a 30-day fast or anything like that. We need you strong, you know what I mean, for the trial. So that's why the calorie tracking that we set up online was great, and I encourage anyone to do that, because it's like you can really get a good snapshot of what you're eating and what the daily totals are, and you sort of, if you're eating nutrient deficient in anything, all those kind of things, you got overall,
and that was the
picture of it. Even if you do it for like a month or two, you'll get a good idea after. Oh my God, I didn't realize eating so much fat, or I didn't realize that I wasn't getting enough protein. I had this much. My blood sugar levels are spiking because all I'm having is, like my balance of my carbs and protein or whatever. So it'll give you a good idea of how everything fits, and if you're deficient. So after a month or so, I think you can get a good idea. You can sort of kind of wing it. You sort of know where you're at with it.
Right, becomes habitual, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was sort of looking for a balance of like, 50% protein, 15% carbs as the total overall macro of the, just that overall balance. Because I was looking to gain weight and keep my weight up, keep my strength up, and
Sure.
make sure my immune system's up to the task and everything else. I mean, I did have through the trial, towards the very end of the trial, I ended up getting COVID. But just before then, I had my immune system, I ended up neutropenic. So I had to have injections for that. But
Right.
thankfully, I didn't get COVID before, right early on into my treatment. But I think everything I was doing with Nicky, with nutrition and the lifestyle, everything else just helped me wear those knocks, like a lot better than, having your heart strong and your lungs and circulatory system and all, making sure you're getting enough nutrition. It's just all support.
That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's about, making sure you're covering any deficiencies. You've got all the tools in the box to make sure everything runs smoothly. But tell me, Dave, I remember you did have a couple of hiccups on the way, but side effect wise, you didn't have many side effects, did you?
Yeah, I had during the trial at the beginning, and I think it's common with just about everyone going through this trial. They get you to check your temperature, because when you have your first dose, like when I first started, I remember I was in there and I just felt so. I was drinking a lot of water, but I just felt so dehydrated. I remember you telling me to have ice cubes, so I got the nurses to bring out ice cubes and that. But that was at the very beginning, but that sort of faded after a while. But the first or second, I think it was the second cycle of my treatment, they said keep an eye on your temperature because you'll likely start spiking. And if it gets over 36 or whatever, you need to come into emergency. So they gave me the card that I'm on a trial. And yep, I got over 36. I ended up in hospital for 3 days in emergency. And I ended up actually with pneumonia. So I had pneumonia plus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I think what happens on the treatment, because with your immune system, your temperature can start spiking. And if you're not in hospital, I think it can get serious very quickly. I think that they can deal with it, like if you're there, but if you're not there, that's why I think you need to be in close proximity to where you're getting within 40 minutes or 2 hours of the treatment. So you need to be in there. So that happened twice at the beginning. So I ended up in emergency and then hospital for 3 days on a drip with that. And then the second time I ended up in hospital for 24 hours. And after that, they said you probably won't happen again. And they were right. I was pretty much normal after that. The other side effects, I ended up neutropenic for a bit, which my immunity got low. But I just had a little bit of tiredness, lethargic. I could feel it in my bones sometimes, in my my legs. I think that was maybe the bone marrow or something. I'm not sure with that. But aside from that, the side effects weren't massive. I don't think compared to maybe chemo, that was the main thing. I think the temperature spikes. But once the disease started going down, I was feeling back to normal. So yeah, I was doing my walking every day, and I made sure I could exercise maybe 2 or 3 times a week with weights, and I managed to keep that up at the beginning as well most of the time.
What sort of side effects did they tell you to expect?
The main one was just the temperature. Like they were saying, you might temperature. I also at the very beginning of the treatment, I think it was after the first treatment, I started shaking. Like I felt like I couldn't get my body warm. So I must have been. It was. I never really felt that before, but it was like
that's the rituximab, right? By the sounds
yeah,
of
that
it,
must have been the
reaction.
rituximab, because that was the first what I had, rituximab one day, and then they'd give me the AZD the next day, and they did that for the first few weeks because I was at the beginning of the trial. I was in there 3 times, and then on the third day, I'd go in and they wanted just to get blood work, so I'd get the blood work, and I did that for the first sort of month or two, and then treatment went down fortnightly, and then it went sort of now I'm on after 7 months, I'm now on a AZD once a month for a few hours infusion. That's it. But yeah, the other side effects, I didn't have any nausea. Oh, I did have a little bit of like what's that feeling in your fingers, and myopathy maybe. I just felt a bit tingling in my fingers. Yeah, at one point I felt funny on my feet. The bones of my feet felt funny. Like I was a couple of days I was limping around. For a few days I was sort of limping around. Could put weight on my foot. It was like, yeah, I don't know if that was the bones or I don't know what
like
it
a
was.
tingling, pins and needles kind of.
Yeah, it was almost like I couldn't put weight on there. It was like, but yeah, I guess there's all these things that happen with your immune system getting ramped up. I don't know, but My blood pressure, my resting heart rate all stayed. They were checking all my vitals every time, and they were hanging in there good, apart from the temperature spikes with the first few cycles. But I believe that happens to every patient almost on this trial. Pretty much they get you in the hospital because your temperature starts spiking, I think, because you've got so much disease. I think your body has to, because I guess your immune system's been trained to get rid of the disease, so your body's got a lot of work to do. So
Right, when it's shedding the disease.
I guess that's what it is. Yeah, but shedding it, I mean, talking quick, it went down quick. Like
well, you had a huge 15 centimeter, you said, Dave, right? Was that in
in
your
my stomach?
abdomen?
Was over 15 centimeters in my stomach. Yeah, at least I
Wow.
think that was over that in my stomach there, and it was everywhere basically, even in the bone marrow. I had a couple of biopsies and it was in there. But when I had at the end when I did the scan with the CMR, it was the bone box wasn't showing in the bone marrow anymore either. So
did you end up having a second bone marrow aspiration to check?
I did. Yeah, as part of the trial. As part of the trial, I had to do that.
Of course.
They wouldn't let me, but I wasn't too upset about it.
The second one was worse. The first one was, I was like dreading it, and the first one was like, oh, it wasn't too bad. It was like going to the dentist or something. And the second one, oh my God, it was just like, it was painful. Anyway, I don't want to. It was it was a nightmare, but the result was good.
Right.
That's great to know that it was.
Comes your new normal getting all these tests.
The tolerance and what you thought you couldn't put up with in the past, like it changes, right?
I know people say get out of your comfort zone, have an ice bath or something. It's like, dude, I'd love to be in my comfort zone right now. Like everything, sitting in an MRI machine for an hour and a half while I had pneumonia and I come out and I can't breathe. And it's like having biopsies, as you'll probably know, your biopsies and bone marrow and stuff like that. It's like, I'd love to be in my comfort zone just for a bit. It'd be nice to be sitting in a cold bath. That'd be easy.
Well, exactly. Give me an ice bath any day.
That's a privilege. That's a privilege.
Yeah, I do that for intentionally.
We've already had this conversation. I won't get into it.
We have, yeah.
Okay. It's just one example of whatever. I don't know.
Comfortable for me.
Yeah.
No, but it's great to see the positive outcome, isn't it, of the trial, and you're sort of living proof of it. I think it could be quite scary knowing whether to go on the trial or just stick with a known treatment.
Tried and true kind of thing. Yeah. I don't know what I thought there was. They did say to me, like, if it doesn't work, I could always go back to the R-CHOP or whatever. I guess.
Yeah.
So I knew that the side effects potentially weren't as much. That's the whole point of this trial, I think. So that it's more targeted, more direct, less side effects, non-chemical kind of treatment. So
less systemic.
It's training your own body's immune system to
Exactly. And this is what we've been fighting for. We've been fighting for more treatments that are low toxic because, and all of us have been diagnosed so young. If we've got to live with this for the rest of our life, whatever treatments that we have, we don't want it to affect our quality of life. So these sort of trials are so important for all of us, particularly the young ones, to so we can get on with our lives and still live a normal life and not have to worry about.
It's almost like you have it. It's almost getting rid of a bad infection or something because it's systemic. It all goes down. And it's like your body just sort of takes care of it, like almost like a penicillin moment kind of thing. But I remember one of the specialists was saying, the professors there, he says, I don't believe that they might even be using chemo in 5 years to treat this as a first line. So let's see how this pans out.
Even what 10 years ago, my hematologist at the time said to me that I was grateful that I didn't have chemotherapy. I had radioactive immunotherapy. But he said, I remember him saying to me at the time, hopefully you won't ever need to have chemotherapy because there are more things coming out all the time. And I don't expect hopefully we'll never need to have chemotherapy, but
we might be getting close to that stage,
it feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mentioned just having finished bendamustine and rituximab, and I was offered R-CHOP originally, and I decided against that because I didn't want to go for the harsh kind of chemo straight away, and I was borderline, and it's worked. I'm in remission, which is great, but I am taking maintenance now for 2 years because I want to delay as long as possible because I want these drugs to be developed. I want them to become available in the country that I'm living. I don't want to have another chemo if I can, escape it. I'd love to have a bispecific next time I need treatment. So it's really encouraging, I guess, for people like me who, maybe have had one chemo or maybe have not had any, like you, Nicky and Nicola,
Like
that you never need to have it. Hopefully you can go straight to a bispecific.
For someone like me.
Yeah, maybe the time they're rolling this out, they might have next stage of the trial, they might be doing a second line treatment maybe to see if we're not sure.
Yeah, but it all depends on where you are. Like, I mean, we're our global community. There's going to be lots of people that aren't going to have access to these for a very long time. So Dave and I both live in Western Australia, so we're very, very lucky to have Blood Cancer WA, and my hematologist. I'm so grateful to have him as my hematologist, Dr. Chan Chia. He has brought, I think close to 100 clinical trials for blood cancer since 2018, and that's so huge for probably one of the most remote city in the world. I believe we're one of the most remote cities in the world. So we're very grateful that we have access to this, but there's so many other people in so many other countries that just all they have access to is chemotherapy or R-CHOP, if they have access to that. So it's sad for a lot of people, but hopefully we just need to keep going. We need to keep pushing for more research and options for everybody. So I'm so grateful to have you on, Dave, that we can talk about this because it's such an important topic.
I just feel very, very lucky and privileged to be actually here to be able to do it, because I know the way it was like 12 months ago, it was not good. But now I just feel like I've got my life back kind of to some kind of normalcy. I mean, it never be the same as what it was, but I mean, it's like I feel like I can just get on with living my life the way I was. Nothing.
And that's the thing, that the doctors say to you, go back to normal. There's never you've got to find your new normal, but it's really nice. It's inspiring to see. I think Charlotte mentioned that, we try to have a positive purpose out of our diagnosis. And we're lucky that we've got this platform in the Follicular Lymphoma Foundation and we can contribute. So I mean, I encourage all of the members of the Living with Follicular Lymphoma community, if you want to turn your diagnosis into a positive purpose, we're here. Get in contact with us, share your story, get involved. So email us at the flcommunitypodcast@gmail.com. I highly encourage everyone to do that.
That was the thing with me. I had to reach out because the first thing you do when you're diagnosed is like you're trying to reach out to someone who might have been down that path or something else. So having that's how I found Nicky.
Yeah, all I had was Google, and it was terrifying just having Google, and I didn't have any of those resources. So I'm so grateful that these are all now available, and I'm so glad that you found me, Dave. I don't know how you found me. Did you find me on the community?
I think it might have been that. I think one of our friends knew you and said that you ran the group. So I looked up the group and I found the group, and that's how.
Okay.
It's not like everyone you know has had follicular lymphoma. So it's like I don't know what the odd statistics are, but I remember they saying it's rare but not uncommon. So
yes. Well, it's the second most common form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and there's over 60 subtypes of non-Hodgkin's. So really. I mean, I guess it is rare, but it's not as rare as a lot of other cancers. So, but we're just really lucky to have this community and that we can do something about it being incurable, because that's the biggest problem about it. It's incurable. We need to change that. So
I remember my doctor was saying to me that she's pretty new into it, but she said even the time she's been in the last, I think it was 2 to 3 years, one of the types of lymphoma that was previously considered not curable is now has a 60% cure rate or something. And this is just within the last 2 or 3 years, she's telling me. So things are obviously progressing at a pretty good pace in some areas.
Absolutely. And it's only speeding up as well, now that we've got AI, all of that thing, it's going to really speed up things. So I'm excited to see what happens.
The tech.
So with the bispecific, I'm still relatively ignorant about what it is, how it works. Have we got like a basic kind of information we can put out there to our members, people that don't really know much about it?
Let me try and explain
Thanks, Nicky.
layman's terms, if possible. With most of us have heard of the monoclonal antibodies like rituximab and obinutuzumab, for example. So these are lab-made versions of natural antibodies that we should already have. So, and these antibodies, they recognize like a specific target, like a marker on a cancer cell. I don't know if you've heard in your results like CD19 or CD20. These are the markers that they target. So with bispecific, it's a clever little upgrade to the monoclonal antibody. So instead of just recognizing that marker, the cancer marker, the CD whatever 19 or 20, it also it has another arm to it. So it also grabs onto the T cell as well so it kills. So it's basically it's a molecule with two arms, and one grabs the cancer cell and the other one grabs the immune cell, and basically they bring them together so it can then kill the cancer. So it's like a little bit of a matchmaker or a bit of a bridge. I like to think about it. So hopefully that sort of makes it a little bit clearer.
I think I read about it somewhere. Like the analogy was like training the sniffer dogs to sniff out the drugs, and your body's getting there and it's getting the bad stuff and getting rid of it, throwing it out. Your body's getting trained to get rid of it. That's as much I knew about it.
Yeah. And also what it does is it reduces your risk of what is it? What do they call it? Like the cytokine overload, where things just go really crazy. Which I think a lot of people who've experienced CAR T are at very high risk of. So that sort of reduces the risk of that
CTS.
As well. I think they call it a cytokine storm.
Cytokine release syndrome.
Very scary. Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully we'll have someone who's had CAR T on soon, and we'll be able to dive deep into that and find out exactly what it's like to have CAR T.
Because this is not supplanting, but it's more popular, or it could be more popular than CAR T at some point. Did I read that? Because of the target?
CAR T can be, it's getting better, I believe, as the years go on. They're fine-tuning it, and it's becoming less of a risk, I believe. But this is more of a less riskier option, less side effects, not as invasive as CAR T, because with CAR T, you've got to be isolated for a certain period of time and have chemotherapy blasted into your body beforehand, and it can be very debilitating. But some people believe it's secure.
Yeah.
The thing with what I was went on to, they don't really know if it's a cure or not because it's so new. They don't know the durability because we don't have enough
but they
data.
have tested people 10 years after. I think some people on the Yescarta trial, and I think Dave Robinson from our community, who bless him recently passed away, unfortunately, but he had CAR T cell. He had CAR T over 10 years ago on the Yescarta trial, and I don't know if he was tested, but they were testing those patients 10 years later, and they still had those the CAR Ts traveling around their body, keeping cancer at bay.
Wow.
So it could potentially be a cure.
So it's almost like they've been inoculated in a way, sort of inoculated for when it comes in. Yes, that could potentially be the treatment that I've had, but I guess the data, they'd have a bit of data, but maybe not as much long view yet. So maybe when they have enough data, they might say, this is potentially a cure. I guess they don't know quite. But definitely as far as the eradication phase goes, super effective, lower side effects, everything else.
Yes.
Yeah. Time will tell, I guess.
It's exciting times at the moment.
Lots to look forward to, hopefully, in terms of treatment options and long lives. In terms of your kind of nutrition and mental health, which is kind of obviously my area that I focus on, Dave, now you've had your treatment and you're in this, I guess, rejuvenation phase, as we're calling it.
Yeah, I'm still getting treatment. I'm on a maintenance phase right now, though.
You're on maintenance.
The AZD, I have, obviously I'm off the rituximab, but after the 7 months of treatment, I'm now on once a month of the AZD. I have the infusions for that, and that goes for about 18 months, I think. So probably about halfway through that now. But I call it.
And what's the frequency of that?
Once a month. So
okay.
I'll do that once a month, and it's just the one drug, the AZD, which takes the infusions about 2 hours or something like that, 2-3 hours.
Okay.
And that's it. And that's for the next 18 months, I think, after the
So that's just the bispecific, not rituximab.
Yeah, I'm not on rituximab anymore. The rituximab was I only had that for the first treatment phase. There was rituximab with the AZD after the 7 months, and then now it's the maintenance of the AZD once a month.
That's interesting. It's like the other way around with chemo.
Yeah.
So the chemo stops and then the maintenance is the rituximab. And in your case, rituximab discontinues and you maintain the bispecific.
AZD.
Yeah. Are you still going to have the scans and the blood tests a lot? Or so you still got that
I think I'm due for another MRI. I don't need any more PET scans, I don't believe, thankfully. But the MRI, I've got another one coming up. This will probably be my third or fourth one. I think it's all basically they do it for the trial because they want to show off. They want to show off the data, I think. So it looks good. So it's like, we want more of this, so that way they've got the evidence basically to get into the system kind of thing. So that's what
I suppose and you're getting looked after really well, aren't you, on the trial?
Well, I guess you're under close surveillance, I guess, because I guess they're the sponsors. I guess they're investing a lot of money into the patient to get good results, and they're paying for that, aren't they? So it's like you're closely. I mean, that's why they want so much blood work. I probably wouldn't have to get the extra scan or the biopsy, bone marrow biopsy, but it's for the trial. So I just got to go along with it, and it's all for the data. It's all for the greater good, I should say. But they've been good with the trial. I mean, they pay for everything. Like I'm covered there. Trips to the hospital, I'm a reimbursed mileage and parking and all that kind of stuff. All the sponsors pay for all of that. So, so I guess that's their investment to have it. So it's my responsibility to make sure I do all the blood tests and scans that they want, just to give them what they want. So.
I was going to say, you don't lose your hair, right? You're wearing a hat. Is that just because you're wearing a hat?
Oh, yeah, no, I was a bit cold. But no,
okay.
I haven't had hair. I shaved my hair. For like the last 20 years. So even with the chemo, if I lost the hair, it wouldn't be an issue for me. I already do that.
Yeah.
Well,
you've got your eyebrows still, so that's a sign.
I was trying to work out.
I just go for the full action hero look, just shave it all off. And I've already been doing that anyway. I was already ready.
Love it.
But I don't believe you lose your hair on there's no hair loss, I believe, on these.
Okay. That's great.
Therapy. Nonetheless, side effect, I said the main side effect was the temperature spiking and ending up in emergency there, so they could closely monitor me there. And that, and a few other bits and pieces, but nothing major. I've heard stories of people like with teeth falling out, their eyebrows fall out, hair fall out. I didn't have any of that.
Yeah. Well, I remember you went and had your teeth done beforehand.
I did.
Yeah, just making sure.
There's all risk of infections as well, so get treated when you're low. So I want to make sure my dental work was up to scratch. I also had some old fillings that I had taken out as well.
The mercury, I did all of that as well. I went to my dentist. I said, is there any mercury in my mouth? Get rid of it.
Control everything, I just want to control everything. Also, another thing, while I was on the trial, I wasn't allowed to like floss or anything like that, teeth, because of the risk of bleeding and stuff like that, I guess, for infections. So I want to make sure my dental work was already in good shape for that, and risking any kind of infections is not going to be good when I'm my immune system's getting sort of ramped up or whatever they're doing with it. So, that was one of the things. But I remember I was chatting to Nicky about that too. So I got all that done. This time last year it was just, oh my God, it was like, dental work, biopsies, tests. It was like endless.
That's a lot.
It was, I remember it was a lot. And I remember it was a pretty frightening time. But so great to see you come out the other end. It just having a full, complete metabolic response, and And
I've spoken to other people on the trial now that I met in there, and they've had the same. Like it's like, oh wow, this is like, it's a bit like a miracle's happened. I mean, like it's amazing.
Were you able to meet other people on the trial? Were you?
Yeah, well, because I was in the hospital, so I've seen other people on the trial. I think there's 3 I've met now on the same trial, soundtrack trial. Yeah, there's a couple ahead of me, and then I think I was the third. On this phase of the trial where I am.
I was begging them to connect me with someone else with FL, because that was that just seemed really important to me, to meet someone else who also had it, which is why I started the community. But I remember begging them, can you connect me with someone else on the trial? But they wouldn't. They said they're not allowed to. But I mean, I guess if you meet them in the hallway.
Well, they said that with me as well, but I ended up meeting him in the ward. So, you just chat to people.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so yeah. I had one guy, he was just, I was just at the end of my cycle on my treatment, the 7 months kind of thing, and he come in, and I think he just sort of started, and he was like in a real bad way, like in hospital for a month and everything else, all kinds of problems, and I remember I showed him my before and after picture, and I remember his wife and him said that they actually cried when they saw after they saw that, because it was like, oh wow, we've got hope. This getting to this, because I just embrace the treatment. As far as the mental aspect goes, just embrace the treatment. You know what I mean? And that was my mental. I'm going to embrace the treatment, and then when he saw that, I think that was like the lifeline. It was like, oh wow, this is the trial of mine. Look at that result. Like, so they said that was like I think that was a bit of a turning moment for them too. So. That's why I posted up some of those pictures, because just to create that awareness. I think that people, what's out there, and like the eradication
so
phase.
important. Yeah, that's right. And it'll be interesting when the paper comes out. The research paper comes out for it. I can't wait to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You touched on kind of keeping yourself super motivated and following your fitness and your diet, and with Nicky's help, Dave. How did you look after yourself mentally and psychologically? I imagine it was a crossover, but did it impact you? How did you look after yourself?
Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? Because I think people react in different ways. Like some people can be like, "Oh, I'm going to fight this," or some people are like, "I don't want any of that," and they'll go on the internet and look for some magic potion or green smoothie cure or something like. There's different things that people react to it. But for me, it was like, embrace the treatment and do what I can. Body, mind, spirit. The stronger I can go in with all the three. And to me, they go together. Like if you look after yourself physically, then you've got the foundation for mental health as well. So to me, that's a bit like therapy, like having that something normality that I could do, even if I could do it to my previous level. But if I could do some sort of exercise, do some walking every day, do something positive like that, it's also great for my mental state as well. Because you're doing something positive for yourself, and it releases the endorphins and everything else.
It does.
And it creates sort of that structure and discipline too that really helps with your mental application towards things too. So you've got that structure, then you can structure your nutrition at the same time. And then I was also, in the morning, I put on a meditation app, you know what I mean? So I could start the day with some deep relaxation. So if there's any stress coming or anything, because you never know what's going to happen, like when you've had all this bad news and everything else, it's like you can at least get to that deep relaxation, so your body's can, like you haven't got all that stress.
And grounded and focus. Yeah, it's so important. That's amazing advice.
The sleep, quality of my sleep, and stress minimization. So making sure my body's well rested. Your body's well rested, your immune system's going to be able to repair itself, or at least put it in the best odds for that. I think make sure that vitamin D was at a good level. Physical activity, obviously going on my double daily walks if I could, and some exercise. And the other one was nutrition. So make sure I had that. So
they're Robert Miller's 4 pillars. That's it.
It's the 4 pillars, of epigenetics, or whatever he calls them. Yeah. So I thought at least that was something I could hold on to and control. I could do those, and I thought, and even my specialists are saying, they want to know that you're taking or whatever. So I'm like, it can't hurt. So and mentally that's good. So I did that, and the relaxation. I did the meditation and relaxation. I just use that like an app on my phone, and just do, you can just sort of stop, slow down the thoughts, and you got so many thoughts going around in your mind and everything else, just to slow it all down. And I think the overall, just be balanced, like just slow it all down so you can just get in that deep relaxed state, start the day right. So I do that as part of my practice, and then I get up, have a couple of glasses of water, make sure I'm hydrated. So I've got these things that I do every day, like a routine, habits, So that way, they call it falling forward. So you're putting yourself in the best position you can, or what you could control the controllable, and don't worry about the rest,
Exactly.
So basically, if you can't control it, then what's the point of worrying about it? And if you can control it, take control, like otherwise, if you can't control it, why worry about it because you can't control it? So that's
there were no points where you struggled? I mean, you were pretty positive all the way through?
Yeah, well, mostly, yeah. You talk about that sort of that stoic sort of thing, like what do they say when you're under pressure or people are under times of just like war or poverty or famine or financial collapse. Those times you look back at like the 40s or when they had to, keep calm, carry on kind of thing, or soldier on, that sort of stoic thing. That can get you through it. But they say sometimes after that, you might have the trauma and stuff to deal with. But my thing, look, I need to get through this first. I need to get this if I don't get this eradication sorted, I'll be dead. So it's like I need to, it's like basically what's that one they call it in the military, the FIDO, effort, drive on. So all the bombs are falling, whatever, effort, we keep going forward because if we stop, we get blown up, So that was kind of the FIDO approach to get through. And then if you've got trauma or anything else to deal with, well, I'll deal with that later if I have to. But I can't dwell too much. I can't self-ruminate too much because too much of that I think can probably get you in a hole into some kind of depression. Like you probably know more than self. It's good to have a bit of a balance. But I was sort of like, I need to get through this. I need to battle through this. I need to be a warrior. So that was my.
You want to be a warrior, not a warrior, a warrior.
Indeed.
Yeah. I go in there with my packed bag, my food. I'm snacking out all this organic food, bringing all my water stuff in, So I'm going in there like it's a military operation. But that's the thing I can control, and that helped with my mental state as well. So
it's a really great if you're capable of that. I mean, not everybody is, but and so if you're already kind of quite good at routine and looking after yourself and being educated on nutrition and exercise and sleep, if you're not, it's quite difficult, I think,
it can be difficult. And that's the thing. I mean, Dave, you were already more than halfway there. I mean, you've studied nutrition in the past, haven't you, already? So
yeah, I did a thing in Cornell, I think, once, some modules there, had a certification in that. But I think it ties together. If you're into like exercising and fitness and health, then the nutrition usually comes with it. So you see like fitness people, they're always got their fitness trackers and their app trackers. So it's a really good foundation to build on. Like so, I think I had some of that discipline and structure already there, so I could apply it. But having someone like Nicky's, as you're saying, someone who might think it's a bit overwhelming or too much, and then they might be able to give them the steps in the right direction to help along with those areas. So But you can't. I mean, there's always going to be points like because it can be overwhelming. I mean, when you first get diagnosis, you don't know. You got a disease that's incurable, and you're going to die if you don't get treated and everything else, and so that can get all over you. So
it does. I remember that first conversation that we had, and I remember hearing the fear in your voice. It's been the initial diagnosis is probably one of the most scariest points of the whole journey. And just getting your head, because you instantly just go to that, oh God, am I going to die, or what's going to happen to me? That's what you instantly think about. So I'm so glad that you reached out to me and we were able to have those conversations and help get you on the right track, which you already pretty much were anyway, but just to reinforce that, I think was really good for you. And I was just grateful that you helped me out too, like as I was setting up my clinic and to test out all those things and help me get my procedures into place. So I'm so super grateful for that. And honestly, I'm still only a year into starting my clinic, but you're like the most compliant client that I ever had. You tick every box.
I think my specialist said that I think they call it a motivated patient. But I think they said, oh, yeah. I said, how often do you get motivated patients? And they said, oh, maybe 1 out of every 10, maybe.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was thinking like 10%. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, everybody is different, and if you're not motivated, it's okay. Just do those little bits step by step, and you'll get further and further as you go. And that's what I also wanted to point out in regards to the nutrition process. It's like the consultation process. It's not strict. Like I'm not going to say you can't eat that and you have to eat that. It's about just setting those little goals. Like I tend to gauge each client that I meet and think, like, if I meet someone like you, Dave, I can go a little further and push a little more. But then you get those clients where they're scared, they're terrified, they've got certain habits that they've been doing, and to be able to change them, you can't change it all at once. It's too much pressure, and you're always going to fail. So what I like to focus on is just setting simple little goals, like, you know, SMART goals, or, you know, whatever you want to call them, just simple ones, and just, you know, just work, you know, making a positive change. And then once you're comfortable with that positive change, something simple like replacing, you know, replacing one food with another, or replacing alcohol with non-alcoholic alcohol, or something like that. Taking those little steps, you will get there. And that's what, you know, that's what I'm there for my clients for, is to be with them every step of the way, help them stay accountable until they're ready to sort of go off on their own.
I think that's what they call it, the winning inches. It's like an inch further.
That's it.
The winning inches.
Just a little bit at a time. And I myself had to do it when I was first diagnosed. And I remember just writing down the top 5 things of my diet and lifestyle that I wanted to change. And then I just did one at a time. So I think one of my first things was I wanted to give up cow's milk. I have my reasons why. I'm not saying everyone should give up cow's milk, but that was the first thing I wanted to do. So I hated the taste of soy milk. I love it now. But I just gradually, I waited until I was comfortable on that, and then I moved on to the next thing. So it's okay to take those baby steps. You will get there. You've just got to stay on track and keep focused.
I think some of them can make a huge difference. Like, even when I was in the ward, I could just see the different sort of, some people, I mean, I remember one person, they couldn't take their blood work because they hadn't drank any water for the last 2 days or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, they had 3 attempts and they had to send them home because you have to drink some more water because they lost the viscosity in there. But this is all things you can control. So even something little, I get up in the morning, have two glasses of water straight away, so you're hydrated. Something like that before your blood test. Like, so when I have my blood test, it's no worries, you know. But so then I sort of move into the next level. So it's, I need a full water filtration unit. So I've got to get everything out of the water. Like, so I do that. So I create good. So I'm getting nice, clean water that hasn't got all pesticides or chemicals and that stuff in there. All little things like that, you know. But I think there's also having balance too, and not being so hard on yourself as well, because if you go through this a lot of stuff. So I was like, it's all about balance. So when I'd go for my treatment, I'd have everything ready, all my food, my snacks, my water, everything. But I'd just use the time to kick back and have a read. Like now, I just want to zone out. You know, I've got a cannula in my arm. I don't want to be doing work. I don't want to do all this go, or everything else. I want to be able to just give my body the rest it needs. So it can get on with his treatment, you know?
Yeah. So but before we wrap up, I was going to ask you if you could give us your best nutrition tip and your best lifestyle tip. You've given us so many. What would you say would be your number ones?
I reckon the big one for me, and it might be for other people too, is because you've got so many tests happening and treatments and everything else, and you might have to somehow juggle work and everything in between, and your kids and family and everything. I was like a meal prep. Meal prep for me is like have front load the week. Like Sunday, I just have the freezer loaded up. I have all these meals done, so I know I'm not going to grab junk. It's all ready to there. Throughout the week, when I have my treatment, I don't have to think about it. I just get the meal out.
Love it.
I'm ready to go. It's just so I meal prep and make sure I'm drinking lots of water and hydrated, so I'm getting my kidneys and my liver. But yeah, the meal prep, I call it like front loading the week. So it saves heaps of time, and it also sets me up. So I'm not going to have something nutritionally. I'm going to have the right support I'm going to get without having to think about it during the week. I just do it once.
Excellent. Great advice.
Just as much time to cook up X amount of this in a larger pot that it does to make the one meal. So I might as well make 20 meals for the week. It takes me the same time to cook it up. So it's like I'm going to front load the week, and then I've got all my veggies and everything else. So that was a tip for me anyway. So,
great.
That's brilliant. Yeah. I love bulk cooking.
I know that some of my friends, people in the fitness field, like the bodybuilders, that's what they do. They do meal prep because they need X amount of calories, everything else for the performance or athletes. So it's like you do it all at once, front load the week. Yeah, and that was a tip to help me. And then you got your treatment, and you know you're going to be well supported throughout the week. You're not going to be bothered every time people want to go to eat and go out shopping. You got everything you need. It's all done. And I got front loading the week, so it saves time also, and also the mental stress of oh, I'm not eating enough, I'm losing weight. Yeah, because it's important for me to get enough calories. So, okay, I'm going to have to make sure I've got this all organized. So that's a bit of a tip there anyway.
Thanks, Dave. That's a really good one. We've not really talked about that before.
Yeah, that's great.
So I wonder if it's a good time to go before we finish to you, Nicola, and see if there are any emails or anything that's come in this last week or so that might be relevant to either Dave's story or what we've been talking about today.
Yeah, there's been quite a few comments come in. There's one from our YouTube platform. Congrats on the launch of this important community podcast. Brought back memories and emotions from when I was first diagnosed 6.5 years ago. So thank you very much. So that's quite a good comment, isn't it? Just helping people.
Yeah.
There's one from our group post. Thank you for this comprehensive discussion of follicular lymphoma, mental health issues. I have no doubt this should be very helpful to many patients and carers. Keep up the great work. And I think that's why we've started this podcast, isn't it? Just to sort of reach out and just connect with all those people going through the same things. So just like people aren't alone in this. So yeah. There's one from the podcast we did with Simon. Thanks for sharing your story, Simon, and all the additional work you put into the community. Keep being strong. Your attitude is strong. So, yeah, I mean, we're so grateful to all our guests that come on.
We are.
We are.
And you are an inspiration for us today, Dave, just having been diagnosed so recently and gone through this huge treatment and now in the maintenance phase. You know, your energy, your kind of motivation, this compliant patient, motivated patient is really lovely to see and will inspire, I think, a lot of our members, especially those who are newly diagnosed, because, you know, this is something that's been thrown at you so recently. So, yeah, we're so grateful to have you to tell your story.
Oh, thanks. Hell of a journey. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But one thing I've learned, was I don't sweat the small stuff. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
I think maybe you guys are the same. So, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's one of those things with a cancer diagnosis. Everyone has the same thing. You do. You look at the whole world in a different way. And I remember someone saying that to me after I was diagnosed, saying, people diagnosed with cancer look at the world differently. And I didn't understand that until a little later on. And I was like, I do look at things. I don't sweat the small stuff. I'm happy. I'm much less stressed. So, and that's one of the things we focus on is to reduce stress. So, it's good to have something positive.
It is. Okay, so do keep, thank you for those comments, Nicola, for reading them out. Do keep them coming in to the FL Community Podcast at gmail.com. Do like and subscribe on YouTube, and please feel free to leave comments on also, as well as the email, the rating system on the podcast as well. You can do on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which will help us to boost to get to more members. I'm going to also, I think, put out a video soon that will help those who are a bit less tech savvy. If you need a bit of an extra boost to know how to subscribe and where to, sign up and comment, because some people don't know that stuff. So I'm going to put a bit of a video on the Facebook group as well. So hopefully that will be helpful. And our next episode, I think, is a special one. They're all special, but we always have these amazing guests.
Exciting one.
Yeah. We are. Well, I'm excited to say I'm off to London.
Yes.
Next week. So, yes, I'm excited to be invited by the Follicular Lymphoma Foundation to London, where we're going to have a special community gathering to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of our wonderful community. So, if you are in or around London and you would like to come along, please email us at the FL Community Podcast at gmail.com or get in touch with me through my direct message, and we can see if we can get you on the list. It's going to be a very exciting event. Nicola Mendelsohn will be there. There'll be staff from the FLF, and a lot of our super supporters will be there. Nicola, you'll be there as well, I believe. Yes. So I'm so excited to be able to meet so many people that I've been talking with online in person. So it's going to be a very exciting event. So we've got that coming up in the next few weeks. And I also just wanted to point out the webinars that the FLF have been doing this year. And I believe both Nicola and Paul have been involved in some of these webinars. So
yes, we have.
One of the most recent ones, Nicola, you did one recently on watch and wait or active monitoring. Yes. So I've just listened to that today, and Nicola, you're just so inspiring. I'm just so excited for you. It was really lovely to watch. And Paul, you were involved in one as well. Was that one about what was it? Was that the progress towards a cure?
That was a few months ago now. Yeah, maybe back in the summer.
Yes, and they do have one on bispecific antibody treatment. So there's that one there. There's also one on treatment options, what you need to know, when FL changes, understanding progression and transformation. There was an emotional health and wellbeing, which I was involved in as well. So all of these webinars are on the FLF website at theflf.org. So please go on and have a look, have a listen. It's really important information. The more we gear ourselves and educate ourselves around this, the more we can help others, and the better outcome I think we can have for ourselves and everyone else. So so check it out.
Okay, so I think we're about ready to wrap up. We want to send our huge thank you to you, Dave, for being online today and speaking to us so openly.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll have you back again at some point if you're willing to tell us how you're getting on.
Yes,
thanks.
That would be
we
great.
Really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
Of course. And we'll follow you on the Facebook group and seeing how you're progressing anyway. And we'll finish with our motto, I think.
Oh, yes. I think I know it off by heart now. I don't have to read it. Okay. Are we ready? And Dave, tell us if this is too cringy. My husband's telling us to get rid of it.
Well, we keep saying it's bad and it's cringy, and maybe we're telling people that it's bad, but maybe it's okay.
I love it. I do.
Oh, good. I'm glad you do. I think it's all right. It's good to have a little motto at the end. And here at the FL Community Podcast, our motto is
from surviving to thriving.
One story at a time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Dave, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.